Dr. Robert Kane, The Kilkenny Journal newspaper, 1847. The workhouse hospitals are both in a most crowded state. You may form some idea of when I tell you that there are in many instances 2 or 3 in a bed. You can imagine what it would, in such a time as this, in such exceeding warm season, for even 3 people in health to lie together. What then must it be for people in fever to be lying in such a manner?
Throughout the course of the Great Famine, the increasing numbers of people arriving at the workhouse door were leaving a truly terrifying world behind them outside the walls. As bad as conditions inside the building were, people were passing the corpses of those who had died lonely deaths on the roadside every day. Although the doctors in the workhouse failed to diagnose the condition, many of those who arrived here looking for aid were so famished that they were developing scurvy. This was only confirmed by osteoarchaeological research after the discovery of the mass burial ground in 2005. Inside the workhouse, while the food was appalling at times, those who were admitted were almost certainly guaranteed they were somewhat safer. This was until late 1846, when the famine and disease began to ravage the starved population. While the workhouse authorities could stave off extreme hunger, they were helpless when faced with disease, given the overcrowded conditions Dr. Kane outlined. Typhus spread by human lice and typhoid, which thrives in insanitary conditions, rampaged through the crowded and filthy workhouse. Dysentery, smallpox and tuberculosis also began to claim lives. Then an outbreak of cholera in 1848 further devastated the already emaciated population. Dr. Kane and Dr. Lawler had little by way of medicine. The copious amounts of whiskey and wine they had at their disposal had little effect in the face of such diseases. In what seemed like a negation of all hope, 16 people died during Christmas week 1846. Conditions deteriorated in the new year of 1847, as it proved to be the worst year of the famine, gaining notoriety as Black 47. In January, the numbers falling ill, normally no more than a few dozen, soared to 300. The workhouse was increasingly unable to deal with the pressures facing it. The death rates were huge. By March 1847, there were around 50 people dying each week, with 180 people perishing that month alone. Even working within the walls was dangerous. The master of the workhouse had died in December 1846, while the assistant master, the chaplain and the school teacher all died in April 1847. For Dr. Kane and Dr. Lawler, their jobs were deadly dangerous. By the time the famine had run its course, 2,200 people had died in the Kilkenny workhouse and related buildings across the city. The vast majority of these had died from disease. Such death rates created logistical problems, as the city cemeteries, already full, were closed to the workhouse authorities in 1847. Tragically, 970 people were buried in the workhouse grounds in an anonymous mass burial ground, which was forgotten until it was rediscovered in 2005. Before visiting the memorial garden, take a moment to watch the video interview with Yanni Gieber, whose groundbreaking research on the remains of those buried here has transformed our understanding of life during the Great Famine.